best updates on Chris Davis and Jeff Whitaker at this point?
Chris Davis, he's day to day. We'll see what happens this week with him, and Whitaker is very similar.
Was it good to get D back on the field?
I think so. I think the first half he's probably a little cautious, but the second half, I think he had confidence in his knee and really performed well.
How big is that going to be for you guys to play defensive line to be able to control maybe the line of scrimmage?
I think it's very, very important to have an impact player. He's definitely an impact player. He can put pressure on the quarterback by himself, and he's a leader.
How concerned are you with the struggles running the ball against Mississippi State? I mean, obviously that made you kind of one-dimensional against them.
Yeah, well, first of all, Mississippi State was pretty good against the run, and they brought an extra guy down from time to time, and so we just got to do a better job of keeping off balance. But the positive thing was we were able to throw the football, and each week may be a little bit different, and but we need to be able to run the football when the numbers let us.
Coach, the first year you guys talked about not pushing Nick Marshall too much too soon. Does it worry you a little bit going into his first road game at LSU? Do you have any reservations, or did last week kind of prove that he has earned full reign of the offense?
Well, each week we're going to add a little more to it and see what he can handle and see what he's comfortable with. The challenge this week will be on the road with crowd noise and everything that goes with that. But each week we're going to add to his to his playbook.
He's of late here, struggled a little bit offensively, specifically in the second and third quarter. What have you noticed with that? What's the issue there?
Yeah, we're definitely looking into that. As far as the second quarter and then coming out of halftime, in the past we've been pretty solid coming out of halftime. We got to improve, but the big thing has probably been the second quarter. We got to find a way to get a little more rhythm and execute better.
So teams just adjusting to you guys, and
I think it's a little bit of both. Teams adjusting if we hurt them on something in the first quarter, them adjusting, taking something else away, and making us do something different. And so I think it's a little bit of all the above.
A lot of players talk about how you guys rep the 2-minute drill and everything, but noticing you on the sideline, you're calling plays before. I think Mark State's caught a ball and he's not even out of bounds yet, and you're already getting. How much of prep do you guys put into that, and you specifically in getting the next play call?
Yeah, I think as a coach, it's always good to put yourself in those type of situations before, and the fact that we do it, a couple times a week, I know that helps. You're already kind of thinking ahead, but it was all really about our players executing that last drive. I mean, they did a very solid job.
Do you kind of live for those moments, though? It seems like you got a little bit of
as a coach in the game, you just, your biggest challenge is always be prepared, always be thinking ahead, and, making sure that your players are prepared and that they've repped it and they went over it. No matter what look they get, they're prepared, and then you see what happens. But, coaching at the end of the game, especially when something positive happens, is that's good.
Yes, Reese and Chris Davis have been captains for each of the 3 games. Is that a season-long decision?
What's that?
Reese and Chris Davis have been captains each of the 3 games. Is that a season-long?
Yeah, I just like putting guys out there and being consistent in a lot of different things. That's one of them.
You we all kind of saw the tape, the excitement you had on that last touchdown, obviously.
Yeah.
But kind of walk us through that last moment. We've seen you adamant or animated on the sideline.
Yeah.
But what was that kind of moment like for you?
Yeah, I'm a very emotional coach, and that's the way I coach, and that's who I am, and I was very, very proud of our team at the end. Very proud. That was big what they did and the way we responded, and that'll help us moving forward.
You ever swallowed your gum on the sideline? That ever happened?
I've gotten better in that area. I think I didn't chew that much the other night.
Each week you mentioned you like seeing how the team responds and to adverse situations. Do you feel like you learned more having to have a win that required a last-minute drive like that compared to if you'd won by 3 touchdowns and didn't have any kind of?
There's no doubt. I mean, that's when you really find out decision moments. That could go either way. You find out more about your team than you do winning by 3 touchdowns. I mean, so I thought it was really good to be able to win a game like that, and that'll give you confidence moving forward. Football is there's a lot of mental things that go on with winning, expecting to win, knowing how to win. And I think that'll help us, moving forward. Matter of fact, I know it'll help us moving forward if we have situations like that. Our guys will believe they can win.
I know Ellis has a good handle on the defense, but he doesn't want these trash plays, they call them the big plays. Just what have you noticed? And obviously you guys are pretty high up there in scoring defense, but the chunk plays have hurt you guys at times.
Yeah, well, first of all, Ellis Johnson's one of the better defensive coordinators in all of college football, and you know, similar to offense, they're a work in progress too. They've had some injuries, and some guys have to step up, and so, you know, the more consistent we can be with our personnel moving forward, you know, the more consistent those guys will be.
Last week in practice, you know, one of the big things was cut down the penalties and third downs. And how about this week? Anything in particular?
Well, it's the same thing, you know, as far as that goes. Penalties, especially being on the road, you know, and then just the base execution of our offense and our defense. Like I said, we're still a work in progress on both sides, and so just keep getting better at what we do, and you know, not beating ourselves.
Gus, how much does, obviously, the rivalry with LSU has been really close a lot of the last couple of years, except for about 2 of the last 6. So how much does last week's win and the way you want to give you confidence going in, given the history of that?
Well, I mean, you know, when you win, I mean, obviously that helps you, but this is a different challenge. You know, playing a top 10 team on the road. We've had a good rivalry with LSU. They're a very good team. They're going to make you earn it, and they got big playability on offense, so it'll be a challenge.
Yes, will Damian be coaching from the sidelines from now on?
We'll talk through that later in the week. It worked out well last week.
Can you put into words, describe in words, I guess, the atmosphere of that game at Tiger Stadium?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Our crowd was great. I told somebody after the game, you know, it felt like the old days around here. It was just really electric. They helped us win the game. I mean, they helped us in the fourth quarter win the game with everything that a big-time crowd does.
Anything else? Because with the targeting rules, after going through what Jonathan went through in A-Day and what Chris went through earlier, a couple weeks ago, some coaches have said that if the targeting aspect of the foul can be reviewed and overturned, that the yard should also be able to be overturned. What's your stance on that?
You know, we're just working through that. Like I said last week, I think we're going to learn this year, but each week you'll have a better grip, you know, from a coach's standpoint of what's going to be called and you know, how to deal with all those aspects.
All right, good. Thank you.
Thank you.